Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Owensboro Real Estate Update. I'm your host, Ryan Bays, and thank you for joining me once again. After today's brief real estate update, please hang around for a neighborhood deep dive. We're going to get into the 5-year real estate stats from the Carriage Park and Apollo Heights neighborhoods over in the southwestern section of Owensboro. Today's Riverfront Report is brought to you by Riverfront Appraisals. For more information, go to riverfrontappraisals.com. And the following information is for single-family residential real estate activity in Daviess County, Kentucky between January 31st and February 7th, 2021. So let's get into it. Number of homes sold during this period, same as last period, 23. So 23 houses sold. 39 listings were taken during this period, which is an increase of 12 listings. So market, again, still hot, picking up just a little bit with our listings. Last period, we had a list price range of $29.9 to $335, and this period was up. We had $69.9 to $698, and that's going to be a reason why our list price, the median list price, is up 40%. But we're talking about, we're small numbers here, 20, 25, 30 sales and listings. So, but the median list price, $185. Last week, it was $129.9. So we had some lower listings last time. The median sale price for this period, $165, up from $140 last period. And the days on market were 51, which is 8 days better than last time. Homes selling for 97.12% of original list price. And I do want to make mention, notice there's a $20,000 gap between last week's median sale price and median list price. Sale price $165, list price $185, which is just another indication of seller's market. If we're in balance, those numbers probably are going to be a little bit closer, but this is just evidence that sellers are asking for a lot right now. Sometimes they're getting, a lot of times they're getting it. Sometimes they're not. Just something that everybody needs to be aware of. All right. Most expensive home listed last week, that's $698. That's a really interesting property downtown on East 2nd Street. Residential, commercial mix. And so I think on the main level, you've probably got a number of things that you could use that property for. And so that's pushing $700,000 downtown if you want to live downtown and maybe work and live at the same place. I think that's a neat idea. All right, so we've already compared last week's numbers, and how are we doing year to date? So far, as of February 7th, we've sold 125 houses, selling from, say, $15,000 to just under $700,000 with a median sale price of $164.9. Remember, last week's median sale price was $165, so we're right in target with the entire first month, 5 weeks or so of the year. Median days on market so far, year to date, 56, and last week was 51. So we're doing better there. And list to sale price ratio, we're still selling homes, within 2 to 3%, and sometimes even better of original list price. So those are your stats for the Riverfront Report. And now let's take a neighborhood deep dive. And in today's neighborhood deep dive, we are looking at the Apollo and Carriage Park areas. We're in the southwestern corner of Owensboro, not to be confused with Carriage Hills, which is over off of Old Hartford Road that sometimes MLS listings pop up as. If you're Mount Vernon, Gunston Place, Noel, those areas over there, that's actually platted as Carriage Hills. So we're looking at south of Sherm Road, north of Southtown. You've got like Arlington, Gemini, East Surrey Drive, kind of on the east and west boundaries. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we're looking at in the neighborhood deep dive. And so we are We don't have a ton of sales, and that's something that it's important to consider. As real estate appraisers, we like to see a bunch of sales. The more sales, the better data we can get and we can glean from. Today, we're looking at, over 5 years in this particular market segment, it ranges from a low of 11 sales in 2019 to a high of 24 sales in 2017. So not a ton to deal with, but look, if you really want to buy in, like the 90 to 140, 90 to 150 range, and you want to be, maybe you work at US Bank off Carter Road, or maybe you want to be close to Apollo, and that's your price point, that's your neighborhood. These are the numbers you're going to want to hear. So if that's you, or if you're a realtor about to take a listing in that neighborhood, I think you're going to find these numbers interesting and hopefully helpful. So last year in this section of Owensboro, there were 16 homes sold with a median sale price of $110,389. $110,389. The average sale price just a touch above that at $114,520. The sale price ranged from $87,900 to $149,900. Median days on market, 50 days on the market. And the list to sale price ratio was actually above 100%, just barely. It was at 100.5% above, that was your list to sale price ratio. So nobody coming off of price over in the Apollo and Carriage Park neighborhoods in 2020. And how does that compare? Let's look at first our 5-year change. As I said, the numbers that we're looking at, they range from 11 houses sold up to 24. So, we're actually down. In 2016, there were 22 houses sold. In 2020, there were 16. That's down 27%. But that's just numbers. That's just, that what that's saying is that people were holding on to their homes. Nobody was wanting to put it on the market for sale, and that's really all that we can tell from that downtick in number of houses that have sold. Now, the median sale price, a huge jump from 2019. Houses in 2019 in that area, median sale price was $85,000. And honestly, for the last 4 or 5 years, that's about what homes were selling for, the median sale price. You look at 2016, it was $89,950. The next year, $87,000, and then $89,900, and then $85,000. And then all of a sudden, it bumps up to $110,389, representing an almost 30% change over 1 year, and 22% though, which it's odd because prices were higher in 2016, a 22% overall 5-year change. And our, average sale price also going from $93,300 in 2019, next year $114,500. So big leaps in that market segment. Sale price range, again, and this is going to help us understand why those big jumps. In 2020, our sale price range was from $87,900 to $149,900 versus a $38,000 bottom end to $157,000 in 2019. If we look at that bottom end over the course of the last 5 years, you've got $38,000, $50,000, $44,900, $54,500, all of these really low-priced homes that have set that low end of the sale price range, whereas you've got it bumps up, between $30,000 and $50,000 just for our low end. In 2020, again, that $87,900. So that makes a big difference when we're looking at those average and median sale prices. And how does that compare to the rest of the county as a whole? Again, year over year in this county, a little over 1,519 is what we have is our sales. And again, in the Apollo Carriage Park area, your median sale price $110 versus countywide of just a hair under $160. Average sale price $114 versus $180 countywide. And actually, median days on the market only 50 versus 56 countywide. And as I said before, the list to sale price ratio just a hair over 100% versus 98.5% for the entire county. And let's see, currently there are 0 homes on the market, not a single one. Now that's active. I'll make that clarification. There are 3 homes in this market segment that are under contract right now. But if you are looking for a house in this neighborhood, you will not find anything listed in the MLS, at least. A couple of fun facts. I've already hinted around at some of these. Homes in this market segment sold 6 days quicker than the county median. We've already mentioned that the median list to sale price ratio in the last 12 months was 100%, which I just love seeing those numbers. Sale prices in this neighborhood were up 30% over the previous year, while the entire county was up 9.5% year over year. And we've already talked about the reason why, being that $30,000 higher bottom end range. You know, we didn't have in 2020 those $40,000 to $50,000 lower priced homes that sold. Our 5-year sales, again, up almost 17% in this neighborhood, up 25% in the whole county. And so I just want to mention one last time before we finish here today that, again, as I said before, that this data pool that we're drawing from is smaller than I'd like to see, but it's still a very accurate representation of what's going on in this particular market segment, this little section of Owensboro. And again, if you're thinking about listing a home, if you're a realtor, or if you're thinking about selling your house, if you're a homeowner, just keep that in mind that these numbers are few, and yet the sale prices are crazy high. And yes, there are no listings, and we've seen incredible growth. I think I just said growth, made up a word there. Incredible growth over the last 12 months. But my advice to you as a seller or as a realtor, don't go thinking that just because nothing on the market, crazy high prices, I'm going to ask 25% or something crazy higher than the most recent home that sold out there in that neighborhood, because it still has to appraise. And an appraiser is going to be looking at comparable sales. Now, an appraiser who has their, is paying attention to the market is going to be accounting for those market conditions, the appreciation that we're seeing. But again, we're still using comparable sales. We still are going to factor in those changing market conditions, but it might not see if you just say, you know what, I'm going to list this home for 30% higher just to see what happens. Chances are you're going to get a buyer because there's nothing out there, but chances are also pretty good that it may not appraise. So just be realistic is my advice. Just be realistic. Listen to your real estate agent. If they say the home's only worth X, and you want to list it at X plus 10%, then you may get it because buyers are, paying a premium. But at the same time, just be ready and keep in mind that you may have to settle for something less. So there you go, neighborhood deep dive. I hope that's been informational and helpful. If you are, again, in the Apollo or Carriage Park neighborhoods of Owensboro, or thinking about moving there, or have a home to sell, or thinking about selling in the next couple of months, hopefully that will be helpful for you then. And if you have any questions about a particular neighborhood, or you want to hear about a neighborhood that we feature on our neighborhood deep dive, or maybe you are a realtor. Today I'm flying solo. If you're a realtor, or loan officer, or just anybody in the real estate community, you want to come on our podcast, feel free to reach out to me. You can find all of our information on our website at riverfrontappraisals.com. I really appreciate you guys listening to these numbers. I hope, again, they're helpful, and hope you can share the podcast. If you can like it and give us a rating, we sure would appreciate that. We will talk to you next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you for listening to the Owensboro Real Estate Update. I'm your host, Ryan Bays with Riverfront Appraisals. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast, or to learn more about how an appraisal from Riverfront Appraisals can help you better understand your home's market value, visit riverfrontappraisals.com. And I'll meet you next week for another episode of the Owensboro Real Estate Update.